जगतगुरु श्री मध्वाचार्य जी.
All right, in breaking news coming in, we are learning that Russian President Vladimir Putin will visit India on December 4th and 5th. Russian media have cited the Kremlin as saying. This follows an invitation by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, with the two countries growing closer in the last few months after the US imposed punitive tariffs over New Delhi's Russian oil imports. Putin's visit was announced during National Security Advisor Ajit Doval's visit to Moscow in August. The dates, however, had not been finalized at that time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Putin will later met in China during the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit and held an hour-long discussion over there. So clearly we can see that these are the dates which have now been announced. President Vladimir Putin will be in India in on December 4th and 5th. Joining us on the broadcast is my colleague Brian Thomas with more details on this story. Brian, these dates have finally been released. We are expecting Vladimir Putin in India on December 4th and 5th.
Well, yes, clearly as of now, Russian President Vladimir Putin will be visiting India on December 4th and 5th, according to what Kremlin even cited. Now, this trip also comes at the invitation of Prime Minister at the time when New Delhi and Moscow have drawn closer following US punitive tariffs on Indian purchases of Russian oil. And clearly, Putin's visit was also first indicated during NSA Ajit Doval's trip to Moscow in August, like you mentioned. Though the dates were not confirmed then, but now the Prime Minister and both Putin later met on the sidelines of the SCO summit in China, where even the two leaders held an hour-long conversation in Putin's limousine. But now, yes, clearly as of now, we're getting to know that the dates have been finalized of 4th and 5th, where the two leaders will be meeting in India itself, yes.
Obviously, Brian, and this is a very high-stakes meet that we are going to see in December. Both the countries are looking to expand their ties in the fields of trade, in the fields of defense as well, Brian.
Well, yes, clearly there will be an array of conversations that will be happening between the two nations. You talk about defense, you talk about infrastructure, you talk about energy. So clearly this is going to be a very pivotal meeting between the two nations, and right now also when both Moscow and India coming closer in their allies itself. So clearly this is going to be a very important visit by Vladimir Putin that will happen in December 4th and 5th, yes.
Absolutely. Brian, please do stay on with us. In fact, because of this entire meet that had actually, we did not know the dates surrounding this meet. Now we are obviously getting clear dates. So also joining us on the broadcast is Ambassador KP Fabian, a former diplomat. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Very good afternoon to you. We were just talking about this date, which has been released regarding Vladimir Putin's visit to India, sir, December 4th and 5th, a very historic summit. We will be, in fact, looking at this various fields where India and Russia might look to collaborate, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon. It is indeed an important visit, important for India, for Russia, and for the rest of the world, because geopolitics is changing, and India has decided to strengthen and deepen its relations with Russia for very good reasons, and that is going to happen, and there will be a lot of emphasis on defense cooperation and also on economic cooperation and trade. And there may be, there will be, the two countries will be looking at, as I said earlier, the changing geopolitics and how best they can cooperate. And Putin on his part will also push RIC, Russia, India, China. Well, let's just see how India will respond to it.
Absolutely, Ambassador, and this is a very important meeting because this comes right after those punitive tariffs that were put on India by the US for, in fact, importing Russian oil. So this forms a very important message as well from India and Russia to the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why I spoke about the changing geopolitical context.
Absolutely, sir. And when we talk, you were also talking about, collaboration in the defense field. So when we look at that after Operation Sindoor, obviously we are looking at a lot of additional squadrons of the Russian-made missile defense systems as well, sir.
Yes, and there could also be more talk about S-400.
All right, sir. Please do stay on with us. We, in fact, want to introduce this bit of information to the viewers. The Ministry of External Affairs has now confirmed the dates of the Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit to India. In a release, the MEA stated that at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, will pay a state visit to India from December 4 to December 5th, 2025 for the 23rd India-Russia Annual Summit. Moreover, the Ministry of External Affairs further stated that during the visit, President Putin will hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and President Murmu will also receive President Putin and host a banquet in his honor. Ambassador, we were just speaking about how defense cooperation will in fact be strengthened. Apart from, sir, the missile defense system, when we look at India-Russia ties per se, and in a world which is geopolitically, currently very cracked, we can say, because there are various wars that are going on, and this, bonhomie that we have, India and Russia, it comes out as very strong and important during tough times, sir.
Yes, in fact, President Putin will sort of explain to Prime Minister Modi about what is happening in regard to Ukraine and how Russia looks at a possible end to that war.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, also joining us on the broadcast is Ambassador Yogesh Gupta, former diplomat. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Ambassador Gupta, this is coming at a historic, this will be a very historic meet between our Prime Minister and the President of Russia. The dates have finally been announced, and we are looking at a slew of cooperation in a slew of fields, in fact from defense to trade, but most importantly this meet will send out a good message to the world, sir.
Yes, you are absolutely right. This visit is coming at a very important political juncture because India has been under tremendous pressure from the USA to tone down or dial down its relationship with Russia. Now we have been proved again and again right that our relationship with Russia is extremely useful. It is very handy. It's very important for both countries, and Russia has never sort of created any problems for us. Russia has been very mindful of our concerns, our interests, and Russia has always treated India in a very special manner, special privileged partner, as they say. And whether it is a question of energy, or it's a question of defense supplies, or it's a question of commercial exchanges and so on, Russia has always tried its best to accommodate India's concerns. And while we have come under pressure from the Americans to reduce our purchase of crude oil and gas, LNG from Russia, we have made it clear that we will not abandon our relationship, with Russia, because simultaneously we are going to increase our commercial exchanges. We are going to buy many more defense equipment. We are going to set up our nuclear, power plants with help of Russia. So this is a relationship which will continue to be at the prime place in our bilateral relations. And President Putin's visit at this juncture only confirms that India will continue to give very high value, very high position to our relationship with Russia.
All right. Also joining us on the broadcast